Alright, looks like we're live. Alright. Looks like I should go to sleep. Because the night demons will be here soon. Look at that. 2 beacons now. Pointing towards infinity. Well, I guess I can start with a little bit of making the place look a little better. I should have a bunch of... yeah, there it is. A bunch of tough. And let's throw that in. Oh, okay. My random chest is full. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make another one. That might be why my boys are struggling. It looks like they got everything. Throw that in there, I'm sure they'll find a good spot for it. Yeah. Alright. Don't need all of this. So I have to keep making this place look better. So part of that is going to be kind of keep on building this kind of retaining wall thing. Now this bottom couple layers, I think we can keep those as tough. But then kind of do like blending tough and stone wall as we go up. Put a few of the stones there. I don't need a spear at the moment. Not fighting the undead yet. Let's make a few more of these just in case we need them. The rest of these will turn into bricks. I have way too much stuff. Alright. Don't need the axe. I will do something with those sheep at some point. Hello, Suzanne. Welcome aboard. So we're doing a little bit of building at the moment. Gotta make the place look nice, more presentable. Out of the way, chicken. Thank you, chicken. Over here, kind of want to build like a retaining wall type thing to make the place look more cohesive, more interesting. So if we go, oh, okay, you should be able to kind of see what I've got going on here. So we have like the little coastal retaining wall, and then the steps keep on going upwards, and eventually they will go up to where I will construct a tower. That's kind of what I'm doing. And one of the things that I'm trying to work on is like blending like different colors as we go up. So you notice that down here we have dark blocks, and then as we get progressively higher, the color of the blocks lightens. And you can kind of see that over here with this tower where it started dark, and then it lightens until it gets, you have the lighter gray up on top. So that's kind of what I'm working with. I'm by no means a master artist at this, but I'll do what I can to try. But I am kind of inspired by some of the historical European architecture I've seen, but also like other sources, like it's like a weird blend of North European and almost Japanese. Because I'm trying to build it into the mountainsides. Every so often, gotta stick a random block in there just to add a little bit more texture. So over at around this level, we can start adding some of these walls. Just kind of blend them in. And we're just gonna have to shave off this layer of dirt and replace that with wall. Oh yeah, it's... I mean... I'm sure you'd be fine. You'd be surprised. If it's fall damage you're worried about, you just need an inch of water and you'll survive in Minecraft. Real life can't make the same promise though, but Minecraft is pretty forgiving. Yeah, how was work? Yeah. Like I decided that I didn't want to stay too long working today because I didn't really have too much to do from home, and since I was at home, I was like, I can't really do much from here, so I might as well just not waste time and just, have fun. Okay. Let us build a few more bricks. Oh yeah, we can do a little bit of exploring later. You can see how this world looks. Sometimes there's no point in staying longer than you have to. Alright, let us... Something about Minecraft is if it gets too late, you can end up getting swamped by monsters. I got this mod that kind of shows me the dark spots that I can light up. So every so often, just gotta place a little friendly torch. And then eventually I'll replace this with proper lamps. But let us actually just go to bed and pass the night away. So I have some ideas of how I want to build the tower. And part of it is having like lighter colored blocks on the edges and then have kind of like dark blocks in between. So yeah, I could see that being similar to Stardew Valley, except that this is like 3D instead of 2D. So let's go into a creative world where we can look at different block palettes. So I have this test world where I experiment with different designs before actually putting in the game. And that's for like my mechanical designs. But it also applies to stuff like colors. Like for example, here, this is what I'm talking about. So I kind of want to start with darker colors and then kind of lighten up. So over here, this is birch. Then we have sandstone, bone, quartz, and pale oak. So kind of have... Let's... We can even go a little bit darker with a little bit of stripped oak. Kind of create a gradient. And this is kind of like a tiny version of what I want to do. So have these parts that come out like braces, and then you have all these block textures. And I've given some thought to it. So instead of using the bricks, we can do deep slate. Let's go. So we got cobbled, regular, and just between the two of these, depending on how you orient them. So you can do like that, and then if you go like this, and let me turn off the shaders so that you can actually appreciate the let's disable, apply. No. Okay, so here it's a little bit easier to appreciate what's going on. So we can very subtly introduce texture to make it look like we have stacked stone. And just by kind of changing how we orient them. So this is a very subtle texturing. to make it look like we have large 2-wide bricks stacking on top of each other. And that's kinda what I'm thinking of going with. Eventually we might do some stuff. I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of thinking about how I'd want to do it. Like maybe combine different things. Still have to give it some thought. But as we get higher and higher, eventually the colors might change. And just kind of work our way up with the different colors, slowly kind of blending in different stones. So you could still get away with kind of this and this, and then eventually so part of what the tower is for is just to have a tower, but it's also because I have a farm at the very top of the tower, and that farm only works in the darkness. And usually, so that structure way up there is a farm. So let's put our shaders back on, make it look nice and cool. Okay, so that structure up there is actually a farm. And usually, in order to make sure that you have darkness, people will build a really large roof over everything that's like a large umbrella, but to me that would look a little bit ugly. So instead, what I want to do is just enclose it inside of a tower, and so it's basically going to look like a giant keep. And it's like, well, if I'm going to do that, I might as well just build a giant keep. So what I did was I kind of created this framework. We're using the dirt. Now, if you want to see cute creatures, this is the bee farm. Sorry, the honey farm. And over here we have our little employee, the LA, which flies around and picks up honeycomb and dumps it into that little hopper. So the bees go over to these flower bushes, and then they return back to their little beehives, and they'll produce honey or honeycombs. So this side of the farm makes honeycombs, and this side of the farm makes honey. And over here is like the really crazy industrial part, where we have the parts, like the honeycomb storage. And over here we have the honey block storage. And yeah, this is basically like a whole logic system built using the Minecraft blocks. The purpose of the honey is quite interesting. Honey is a sticky block, so you can use it to basically move other blocks. So, okay, let's put away some of these things and take a little bit of honey. So eventually, there's like industrial applications to the honey. Let's throw this down on the ground. Our LA will pick it up and toss it over there. So, to give you an example of what sticky blocks can do, over here we have slime blocks, and these guys are sticky blocks. So the purpose is, the piston can move all of those blocks, and because they're sticky, when it pulls, it also pulls them. So if we turn this farm on, you'll be able to see that the whole pillar moves because of the slime, and then retracts. So the reason why we want honey is because if I was to put a lot of slime next to each other, all the slime sticks to itself, and there's a maximum that the pistons can push. So if you want to have some other blocks, some other sticky blocks next to it, you can put a honey block. And the honey block, you'll notice that the honey block is not going to move when that happens. So you can have honey blocks moving independently of slime blocks. So that's why we want honey for making large industrial machines. So on some of my previous videos, what I was doing is that I basically dug this 16 by 16 hole, and I've been putting a lot of farms in there. So here we have the bee farm, but below that we have a cactus farm. Why? Well, because yes. And below that we have the slime farm. So the slimes go in trying to kill the golems, but instead they fall to their fiery death. And I collect the slime. That slime gets transported into a machine that sends it back up to my storage over here. Over here we got a lot of slime blocks from all the slimes we've killed. Over here we have the cactus from the cactus farm. So somewhere below, I want to make another farm. So deep, deep underground. Over here, I want to make a farm for seaweed. It's a little hard to explain, but I'm going to use the seaweed to convert it into infinite fuel. And it's going to be awesome. And I just wanted a lot of vertical space for that. But the other reason I wanted to dig this giant hole is because that gives me the material I need to build the giant tower. Oh yeah. Speaking of killing demons, that is actually on the agenda for today. We are gonna kill a demon. So these lovely lasers that are pointing towards the sky are called beacons. And beacons are very useful because they give you like buffs when you're in the vicinity. Hello, bees. Okay, let's just throw that honey in there. Honeycomb. Alright, so I have to get rid of these extra blocks momentarily. Well, let's keep on building the retention wall, then we'll fight the demon. Oh, no, this is the wrong way. We got this little elevator set up. So... like I said, we got this kind of retaining wall situation happening here that we need to build up. And once I get rid of those blocks, we can go underground and fight a wither. Because, like I was saying, those lasers, those skies lasers, require that I defeat a boss in order to have access to them. And that boss is called a Wither. It's good times. Now, in this version of Minecraft, the Wither is not that hard. But in the the other version of Minecraft that I play, which is called Bedrock Edition, the Wither is ridiculous. It will kill the crap out of you 10 times over. And then you might end up in a death loop just trying to kill it. Because it is that hard. But the Wither in the Java version is pretty straightforward. Okay, let's throw the leaves in here. So these little guys are called copper golems, and they love to sort things. You put something in the chest, they will find a spot for it in the other chests. Extremely useful. Yeah, the Wither is an interesting fella. Okay. Let's They are incredibly useful. Before the golems, you actually, like, you could make storage systems, but they're kind of based off of, like redstone logic. And I can show you an example of that over at my moss farm. This looks starting to look a little bit more presentable. I like that. Kind of like a nice little civilization that built into the mountains. Look, it's actually a struggle for me to be organized, so I'm glad this place looks as good as it does. Let's put this away. Let's get into a fight. Hello, fellas. Can you put these away for me? So even though I did just say that the Wither is kind of a pushover in the Java edition, he's still a pretty rough boss, so we have to not take him too lightly. Okay, so first things first, I have a set of armor that is kind of like my expendable armor, specifically for fighting the Wither. So we have these. I'll put away the current set I have. Plus my wings. This is my pirate skeleton skin. Hello. Okay, so we got our smiting spear. I think we're just gonna risk it in terms of I'm not gonna go overboard with potions. I think we're gonna be just fine without a crap load of potions. Maybe one regen potion, but even then, I don't think we're gonna need it. That being said, anything that I don't want to lose, I should probably put away in some way. Okay, so we have the smiting spear. Okay. So in order to summon a Wither, you need 3 skulls. Which is a little dark, but, you know, kids game. So it's all good. Alright, I should probably put on the armor. Alright, what else are we going to need? We are going to need soul sand. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And probably a few buckets of milk to cure the withering effect. So, milk in this game is like the remedy for anything. Drink a little bit of milk. And it'll cure... Well, it'll basically neutralize any status you have. Thank you for your service. Alright. And that here is my portal to hell. You just leave it in the middle of the pond. Okay. So... we are gonna go down. Alright, we've got the soul sand. You know what? I should have my bed. Used to be more of a pain to go up here, so I'm kind of happy that I eventually decided to make the stairs. They're quite helpful. Look, you have to be polite to the animals, after all. You know, I might end up requiring their support. Okay, we've got our bed. We've got our ender chest. So the way the ender chest works is it's like a pocket dimension. So everything, all of those items are accessible at any ender chest. Which is pretty handy. Okay. Gee, I keep having the desire to jump off the cliff face, and I keep forgetting that I put my wings away. Okay. There we go. Deep underground. Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't mind the Skyrim system too much. Because even though it's like weight-based, like if you're strong, you can carry so much crap. And then if you get into breaking enchantments, like game-breaking enchantments, it like, there's no limit. Alright, let's see. Where should we dig? Okay. If we just dig that away... So the strategy for fighting the Wither, one of the strategies, there's different kinds, is to just make a tunnel. A really long tunnel. And then, because of the blocks, they can't move through it super duper quickly. So while they're trying to get to you, you just hit them with your weapon until you kill them. And my secret weapon is that diamond spear, you see. I'm just gonna keep that little... So this HUD that I have on that shows the numbers is a mod. And I'm just keeping it on so I have an idea of how often I should drop a light. Because if the number's red, that means that that's an area that the monsters can spawn from. But the good news is that they're not going to spawn right next to you. They always spawn a bit of a distance away. But if I go really far away and leave it unlit, eventually they are going to start spawning behind me. And while I could probably take most monsters with my armor, because I have pretty good armor, that doesn't mean I necessarily want to. Okay, that's actually another thing is beds. We use the bed to set the spawn point. So if I do end up dying to the wither, I'll end up waking up here. There it is. Respawn point set. Oh, no? Oh. So here's our little tunnel to oblivion. Now, if you fight this boss in the open, it becomes a much more difficult fight. But I'm not about to make my life any harder than it has to be. Ooh, diamonds. Okay, I'm just filling in the gaps. Okay, so this is where I was before, and now we're just gonna keep on going further to uncharted territory. It doesn't reset. Which is both good and bad. But then again, if you die, all of your items fall, which is risky because the wither has the chance to just destroy your items. So if you have a lot of items that took a long time to procure and enchant, that can be very unfortunate. Alright, let's see. Okay, well that's a bit further than I actually wanted, but this is water, so F it. We'll do it here. Now, to summon a wither, you need to take soul sand and lay it down in a T shape. Then, you put skulls. And then when it has the 3 skulls, that's when the fight starts. We're gonna put steak in our left hand so we can eat it as needed. That is the wither. Gotta wait for the life bar to fully fill up. Yep. Yep. It is very fair to call it an occult ritual. And that is what we want. Another star. As you can see, this guy is very destructive. But you can also use them to mine, as you can see from here. Okay. Ah, and he gave us some diamonds. Thank you, Mr. Wither. Very cool. So, I know I kind of overhyped him, and didn't really suffer too much fighting him. But I was I was prepared. So he didn't completely brutalize me, and this is the third one I've killed in this world. Ooh, lava. Yep, hot stuff. But what I like to do, I don't necessarily destroy lava, so I'll just like reorient it so now it's going down instead of like covering the whole area, and we can use the lava as natural lighting. Of course I am on fire, but that is par for the course. There we go. Like you've never been on fire from lava. Okay. So yeah, that fight went really well. We got our star. Ah, yes, slime. That's going pretty well. Figured you might find it entertaining to see what the Minecraft boss is like. But now we can sleep the night away. So I need to collect an inordinate amount of wood so that I can start building some of those things I talked about. Okay, maybe inordinate is an exaggeration. I don't think I need that much wood. You know, I might have to forward you a video of the Wither fight from somebody, like, because the less you see of him, the better it is, because he shoots explosive projectiles at you. So, you know, not seeing a lot of him is actually a good thing. Yeah, he's a bit of a jerk, put it politely. Okay, let us get our stuff again. Just, uh, okay. Pants. These are my fiery pantaloons. My pirate boots. Pirate protection, and the pirate fire helmet. Get the wings. These are the third wings, because my previous two wings, I lost them because I died somewhere horrible. So that's the story behind those. Okay. So now to build a beacon, we're gonna need obsidian and we're gonna need glass. We have glass in this case. Actually, my inventory is getting a little bit busy from all the stone I picked up. So we're gonna have to buy some glass. But before we do that, we'll go to our little golem friends and have them put away all these blocks. I was about to jump off the cliff without my wings again. Hey, fellas. Put this away from me. Thank you. Much obliged. So this here is the trading hall. Got a bunch of villagers that provide many different items for me. And I need somebody to sell me glass. No. Oh, yep, you're a glass salesman. Perfect. Yeah. They're safe. They're totally not in captivity. And there's still a little bit of space before I completely run out of mountain for the villager hall. So we'll be good. Right, so we've got another star. We've got obsidian. So in order to make a beacon, obsidian, glass, boom. We've got a beacon. And we'll just... I have a bunch of junk chests here everywhere. This is where I get my villagers from. Up there, there's a farming couple, and they have made a lot of babies for me. So, you know, sometimes you don't need that many. And in order to not have too many, let's just say I don't kill them. The lava does. Alright. I just want to make sure... Okay, this place is not running. Oh yeah. So that industrial looking thing, we're gonna cover it with a tower. But before we do that, we're gonna need to get our hands on all that wood. So I might just go with the birch and not worry too much about the oak. Yeah, villagers, they're like, hmm. Yeah, that's what you sound like. So I've left my little birch chest with the bees, so let's go grab it. This is my teleporter. I'll show you how that works. So I have this portable box. Here, yeah, we've got a bunch of birch, and we can get some more. Let's grab our box. Is there anything else we want from here? Not right now. Cactus farm. This is where the slime gets processed. This is the underground hole. And if I press on this pressure plate, I will be teleported to the top instantly. It's very cool. Or I can just take the elevator, and that takes like 10 seconds. But if we do this... then I have to reload the teleporter. There we go. So the way that works is that you will be teleported wherever that lands. But because it's on floating water bubbles, it can't land anywhere. But then I send a signal up, which causes that trapdoor to close. Boom. Teleported. Alright. So we're gonna need a crap load of birch. We're actually gonna need a lot of sandstone. How do you feel about traveling to the desert? I think traveling to the desert could be kind of fun. So... but we're gonna need some storage boxes. I don't know if we're gonna be able to bring back a camel this time, but at the very least, we need to find a camel. Okay, so let's... okay, that box is empty. We can take that with us. So this is loot I've gotten from different places. We'll just make another box, and we'll end up with more and more boxes. But it's fine. Okay, we've got the bed. We've got our ender chests. We've got plenty of rockets. I need arrows, because I've kind of used up the arrows I have. There we go. Lots of arrows. I'm just gonna wait until nighttime before we go into the nether, so that it'll be daytime, hopefully, when we get to the desert. Or at least when we show up at the other side. So here's the thing about the nether. The nether is kind of like... it's kind of like the plot of Doom, where instead of unlocking teleportation, they discovered that they were traveling through hell. So the concept applies similarly to the nether, where if you travel through the nether, every block you travel in the nether is 8 blocks traveling in the overworld. So if you want to go really long distances, the fastest way to do it is to go through the nether. But it's also hell, so... yep. Here we go. Let us... I'll keep that on the side. I'm gonna keep the wings off me for a bit. If I don't pay too much attention, I can get murked here. Really should have grabbed more food. Now, some might say that a one-wide bridge is a little bit precarious. And to that, I would say yes. Eventually, I'll make beautiful high-tech highways in the Nether, but for now, we just walk on precarious bridges. We're not at the desert just yet. Alright, so I don't know if you missed it, but I crossed through the Nether. It was a good time. Don't worry, we'll be back in the Nether soon. We're several kilometers from where we started from. Yeah, let's go back in just so you can get a little bit of appreciation for this place. So, the Nether, yeah, it's like hell. At some point, I made a portal over there. I'm kind of curious. I want to see what that's about. Where did I go? Okay. Such a precarious landing spot. This is, interesting. At some point, I must have just been trying to get out. And I built this. I'm curious as to where it leads. Ah. The jungle. Okay, okay, very cool, very cool. Is that desert? It's something. I'll do a quick fly over here. Not just fish, we have parrots. Yeah, so this isn't the normal Minecraft terrain generation. This is what's called amplified, where like all of the vertical is crazy. Because I felt that having extreme terrain like this would be fun. Though it does make it a little bit harder to traverse. Bamboo forest. Pillagers. We're getting out of here. This can get overwhelming pretty quickly. We're at a dry biome here at the savannah. And usually you have different, like the temperatures of biomes kind of tries to be like smooth. So they transition from similar biome to similar biome. The savannah is considered a warm biome. So there could be a desert nearby. Just looks like normal forest. But probably not this way. This is interesting. The Mushroom Island. And the only inhabitants of a mushroom island are mushrooms. Peace, fellas. Just gonna refill on my steak. A random ass trader. Okay. Ah, he's got purple. Nice. One of the cool things about the Mushroom Island is that monsters don't spawn here. Only mushrooms. Which means that if you ever find one, well, you can get all the steak you need. Alright. I kinda gonna head back that way. We're gonna enjoy a beautiful sunset. See if we can spot a desert. So we can just load up. Fortunately, the meat you get from the mushrooms is real steak. It's not like some weird kind of mushroom steak. But you can get mushrooms off of them. And every so often you'll run into villages. Don't mind me, just raiding your village. Hello. Nope. Totally not looking through your houses for valuables. Hmm. We don't need any of that stuff, so we're good. Interesting. Portobello shawarma sounds pretty good. Alright, let us continue on our search for a desert. You know, if I had just stuck to that first portal that I went through, we would have already been at a desert, probably. So, let's just head back to it, towards it. Ooh, look at that. Badlands. So, yeah, that... I sometimes restore these random portals. Is this a good idea? Debatable. But it's fun. Enchanted golden apple. Some gold. Some obsidian. Well, yeah, we might be able to repair this one. There might be enough obsidian. And we can use the lava here to make more obsidian, if necessary. Uh, of course, I don't need these vast quantities of milk on me. What I need is water. So this thing had a lodestone. Let's place it. And... let's see... We'll be right back. Oh, look at that, there's a mine. Okay, water, water, wherefore art thou water? Maybe at the... Yeah, there we go. Yeah. You just have to look for a canyon, and usually in the bottom of a canyon you'll find a river. That's just geography. Very well. Time to restore this portal. First things first, we're gonna need more obsidian. And you can make obsidian by converting lava using water. Boom. You know, I don't think I've ever had a good mint tea. But that might just be because I'm not a big tea drinker. So I have to expand my horizons on that. Okay, let's... Nice. And I mean, it's not very friendly if you have to do a bunch of jumping to get up there. Looks like I left my stone cutter back home. I should have the materials to make one, if needed. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds good. Because mint has a cool flavor. So, like, I could see that working to help somebody cool down. Kind of like breath mints. Make your mouth feel cool. Okay, I thought I was gonna find some stone in there, but all I got was terracotta. That being said, terracotta is very cool. Eventually I will make a terracotta factory. But today is not that day. Do we have... we have stone. We have stone. I keep checking for stone, and then it's like, yeah, I have chests full of this crap. Why do I do this to myself? Very well. So what I'm making is a stone cutter, which is to help shape blocks. Because if I want this portal to be nice and friendly, let us make some steps. Okay, the friendliest portal to hell you'll ever see. There we go. Use a fire starter to get it turned on. Oh, right. Should put the box in there before we continue. Alright, let's just poke into the nether and see where we are. Okay, this is not horrible. Looks like there's a structure down there. So probably another fortress. I'm not gonna stress about it too much. I don't know if it's one of the fortresses I've already found, or a new one. But I am... Oh, look at that. It had nice stairs on the other side. I don't know why I was stressing so much about stairs on this side. Okay, so one thing that I like to do is make a compass. But I don't know if I really want to stress so much about that. Bundles are handy because they let you hold a bunch of loose items that would normally be in separate stacks in the same stack. But you actually need some space Alright. Let us build ourselves a compass. What am I missing? I need more iron? Oh, I had everything I needed. Okay, so you click on the compass with the lodestone, and it'll always point you to that lodestone. So, now we'll just leave this compass here, and if I'm ever here and I exit through this portal, I'll know how to find it again by just grabbing and borrowing that compass momentarily. That's how I set myself up for success in the future. Future me will be like, hey, thanks for leaving a compass. Alright, so anyway, we have this other one, which is the one we were kind of flying to. There's usually desert next to the Badlands, so we just kind of have to look around. This is pretty cool. An exposed mine that's just floating. Yeah, the only difference is that, like, you at least will probably drink that coffee the next day, whereas me, I have no idea when I'm gonna run into that portal again. But I'm gonna be like, oh, cool. Thanks, past me. This looks like desert. Yeah, this is desert. We found them. We found the camels. We're sitting on the camel. Life is good. Alright. Thank you, camel. Very cool. It looks like there's a swamp over there. So if we're lucky, we might even find frogs. Though I already have frogs. And we can do a little bit of archaeology here, because it looks like we have another nether portal that we could potentially restore. Ah, it's flooding! Big site flooding! Okay, this portal kinda sucks compared to the other one in terms of the other one was almost complete and this one's not. However, it's kind of what we're here for. Sandstone. And we can make more sandstone by compacting the sand we find. So this obsidian here, called Crying Obsidian, is no good for portals. I have to chop that out and replace it with the normal dark stuff. Fortunately, I do have extra obsidian. So we'll be good. Alright, yeah, that should work. Let us take these. Bro, you do not want to be here. I don't know. Maybe he does. Some of these villagers like to live dangerously. Alright, let's see. Got a little lighter over here. Now, I do carry extra lodestones for some reason that I haven't yet figured out myself, but I'm glad that I did. So we can make a lodestone to navigate back here. But let's hop in and see where we are. Look at that. There's another fortress over there. I have my spear. Let's go check it out. Okay, that was a mistake. I'm almost dead. Ooh. Okay. We're alive. We're alive. There's the portal we just came through. I'm just kind of curious. Is this... Okay, I don't think this is a... Oh, I've definitely been here before. That right there? That there is a sign. That's why I wanted to check it out. It's possible that this is one of the... I've been to this place. Yeah, look at that. That was me. I did that. Yeah, I have 100% been to this fortress before. Very cool. That's good news. That means we can use that portal to get back. Alright. Didn't expect it to turn to nighttime immediately. Alright. Let's go collect some sandstone. I was gonna swim and then I was like, nah. I can afford to fly. Hmm. That is a creeper. If they get too close to you, they'll explode. But if you knock them far enough away, they won't explode. This is part of the monotonous, tedious part of Minecraft, but you know, on the bright side, even though right now I'm just digging sand, it gave us an excuse to travel through the world and explore different parts of the Nether. No, no, we don't want those bones. Oh. Alright. I'm making a bit of a filter by taking the free inventory spaces and just putting sand there. So now the only thing that can fill those up is sand. And I can walk by the bones and they're not going to enter my inventory. I'm actually gonna have to turn all this sandstone that I'm making into smooth sandstone to get the effect that I want for that transition. What is it, cat? My cat has just jumped onto my lap. Alright, well. I think to make smooth sandstone, I'm actually gonna have to cook it. So probably one of the next big projects before I actually start placing the sandstone is a furnace system that can handle all of them. Ah, skeleton. Move this down a bit. There's always something happening in Minecraft world. Just throw those in the bundle. More space for sand and activities. Where are these guys coming from? Alright. I think I know where they're coming from. They're coming from the fact that there's an island floating above us casts a shadow on us. I think I left my bed over there by the village, so we're gonna have to fly down there. Yeah, this is all dangerous spawnable area. Hey buddy, I don't recommend you going down there. Thinking about the fact that it's like I just show up and it's like, hey, I'm gonna quarry one of your hills over there and just knock it down for materials. I hope you guys don't mind. And of course, I show up heavily armored with top tier weapons, and they're all pacifists, and they're like, yeah, go ahead, dig away, take whatever you want. We can't stop you. And of course, I'm like, yeah, I know you can't. I'm just, your average conquering hero that shows up to, you know, take some resources as needed. It's like, nah, you guys can keep your land. I'm just gonna take the terrain. It's all good. You guys don't mind, do you? Right. It's gonna be annoying. I'll just keep the watch there. Yeah, it could be worse. At least I'm not building a shopping center here. But I could. See, something that I did in my Bedrock world is like I was building a city location that was kind of inspired by like the ruins of the Soviet brutalist architecture. So it has a combination of buildings that are both active and abandoned looking. And it's pretty interesting. making good progress on sandstone. I think I'm gonna just stop at 1 box. Because since I'm only gonna use it for limited details, I don't think we need that many. I think the creepers are coming out of a cave over... yeah, they might be coming out of there, because it's dark enough that they might spawn. So you know how in Dark Souls, if your weapon breaks, you can get it repaired? Not in Minecraft. If your durability goes all the way down to 0, it just permanently disappears from your inventory. So you kind of have to watch the durability while you're working. And you can't, fortunately you can repair them. But if you're not paying attention, boom, you lost it. Awesome shovel that digs things really fast? Nope, that's gone now. Also the fact that like say that you fall into lava. Now there is a setting that lets you keep inventory on death, but the default setting for many years was you drop all of your inventory when you die. So if you happen to die in lava, the lava would end up destroying all of your inventory. It was good times. 10 out of 10 would do again. Not just that, there's other places where instead of falling into lava, you just fall into the void. And there's no way you can recover anything if you fall into the void. Not today, Spider. I'm working. Oh, yeah, I think the inventory is full. This one, I think since, if you find when my first stream of this world was, that was basically the first day I started playing this particular world. But I don't play it every day, so it's, you know, just kind of slow progress compared to some other people. Like people who play Minecraft full time. Yeah, my progress has been very slow compared to them. I'm not too bothered by that. Alright. So we got a good amount of sandstone here. Probably be alright. I had this other empty box, but, I mean, I might fill it up a bit with sand, just regular sand. But I don't feel the need to get more sandstone. Alright. Let that be a lesson. Switch to your wings before you try to fly. Brother, this is not your bed. Where are you going? Are you going to the nether, bro? You don't want to do that. Okay. So let's just get sand only. Because sand is very useful for other materials like making concrete. You need to mix gravel and sand. So having loads and loads of sand is very useful. Sand, unfortunately, is not a material that you can easily farm. By farm, I mean like you can, like the automation stuff that I did for getting the slime blocks and the honey and all that. You know, that I can automate, but sand, you have to basically collect by hand. You can automate gravel, but with there's these guys in the nether called piglins, and you can trade gold and they'll give you gravel among other items. It's a little random, but that can be set up to be automated, but not regular sand. I agree. It takes me forever sometimes to do a single Elden Ring playthrough because I just kind of want to enjoy the moment. And this is both great but also frustrating. Now to get animals, it depends on the animal. Some animals can be domesticated, others uh you just kind of have to capture. But for the most part, you do catch them in the wild. The ones that can be domesticated, you offer them food, and they'll be like, hey, I'm gonna follow you. And then you can kind of trick them into a pen. So you can do that with sheep, pigs, cows, and chickens. With other wildlife, it's a little bit trickier. Like with bees, bees will just go... They'll live wherever their hive is, but they will follow you if you're holding a flower. Hey, you know what? Gwent is an awesome game. My very first Witcher playthrough, I ignored Gwent. But then when I replayed, and I was a little bit more completionist, I was like, my priority was not to beat the game. My priority was to find every single limited Gwent card. With fish, you can do fishing. Like, fishing is kind of weird because, like, you'll see fish and you can kill them. But with fishing, it'll just, like spawn the fish item in. It's a little hard to explain, but, you know, I can show you later and you'll understand what I mean. Because fishing, like if you use a fishing rod, that just gives you a dead fish. But if you want to catch a fish, you use a bucket. So if you have a bucket full of water... Oh, that's sad. If you have a bucket... Look at that. I have a bucket of salmon. So now I have a live fish I can put somewhere. This one of those things where it's like, oh, you have 49 out of 50, but you have all 50, and it's just doesn't care. That's what it sounds like. That is unfortunate if you're a trophy hunter. Like, if you're the kind of person that wants the trophies, that is unfortunate. So yes, you can capture live fish. So if at some point I may be so inclined to make an aquarium, and that is how I would go about doing it. Oh, another use that I can have for sand is creating TNT. Okay, I think we're doing pretty good. So, 4 more stacks. These guys are pretty close to the village. Huh. There we go. Can't have these ruffians just milling about. Yeah, sand has a lot of uses, so having a lot is definitely useful. Yeah, this game even has coral reefs. Those can be really nice. So I like to build farms, but I also like to hide them. So they're not necessarily in plain sight. Another thing you can do with sand is build glass. Nice. No, those guys, those pillagers, and that's what they're called, the illagers. And they attack villagers. And so I would say that the villagers were there first. Probably. Not just that, with the pillagers, you can trigger an event that causes them to raid a village. Like, they're genuinely not good dudes. Hmm. Well. It's almost time to head back. We'll be using this here portal to get back. Because it's next to that one nether fortress that's close to my... that I've made a path for. Yeah, gotta get that last night here in the village. I respect your choice. So at some point, past me, before I had wings, came to this fortress so that... because it was the only fortress I could find using... what's it called? A chunk base to kind of... a website that helps you locate stuff. So I dug this whole tunnel to get there. Off in the distance. There's my home. Now before we make it too far, here's that one nether portal we were at originally. I've been using... I had the compass just in case I came back here, but this is the compass that belongs to this lodestone. I'm going to leave it back here, so if I ever come out of this portal again, I can just grab it if I want to get back there. Over there, there's that one mystery portal. I mean, the desert looked nice, but to be fair, we weren't actually there feeling the heat. There is a map, but maps don't work in the Nether. And the reason maps don't work in the Nether is because maps, they just take, like, the top of what an area is. And the entire top of the Nether is covered by a material called Bedrock. So all you're gonna see in a map is Bedrock, unless you remove the Bedrock. And the Bedrock is designed to be an indestructible block. Now, technically, you could remove it, because there are ways to glitch Bedrock out of existence, but it is very tedious, and you basically do it just one rock at a time. Whew! Made it back with a lot of sand. So the question is, am I gonna have to cook the sand, the regular sandstone to get smooth sandstone? I want to say probably. And right now my only furnace setup is this one. If I cook it, what do we get? Yeah, smooth sandstone. So that's what we're gonna have to do to get all of that smooth sandstone created. Hmm. As Anakin once said, I hate sand. It gets everywhere. Alright. So anyway, we can go back to what we were gonna do, which was start making some pillars. I'm not gonna go too high because we're gonna need the smooth sandstone. Alright. So, yeah, that's probably good for there. And then up like there, that's where we put the smooth sandstone. Just doesn't look like much, but it'll look great. I promise you. Let's see. Okay. And it doesn't have to be super even. Um, like part of the technique is to like do like texturing. If it's too even, it's just gonna look too samey. So you wanna add a little bit of variety to how it ends up looking. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Minecraft, who would have known that Minecraft is less stressful than Dark Souls 2? Certainly not me. All right, yeah. We wanna trust the process. Trust the process. Now, it won't be seen from the outside, but it will be seen from the inside, so might as well make our little birch thing here. Oh, out of birch. And if we need more birch, we have a farm. Give this to the boys. Thank you. I kind of want it to be an even number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. There we go. There's a method to the madness. I promise you. Oh. So originally, so there's 2 trees that you can use to generate bee nests, and that's what I've been using. That's how I originally made the bee farm. And the 2 trees are oak and birch. You plant them next to flowers, there's a small chance that you will end up with a bee nest just spawning in. And that's where my bees came from that I have in the farm. Because you might have recalled that the the hives that I have down here. Bless you, bless you. The hives that I have down here look like boxes. But the natural ones look like that. Oh, it looks like all of the shears that I had here. So in order to make the farm that I have down there, I actually created this farm to breed bees and to generate honeycomb, and that's what I used to make all those hives. So, and before I made that farm, so I had to make a farm for a farm for a farm. So this is my birch farm, and this is where I actually grew all of the birches that I used to make to get the hives, the nests. So if I need more birch, I can just come here. Oh, let's get rid of that. Oh, bless you again, bless you again. Alright, let's see. Ooh, apple. Okay, so this is a little... I'm trying to be a little subtle with it, but I'm kind of trying to make these a little bit taller as I go back because I want the front of the tower to lighten in color faster than the back. Yeah, I gotta get rid of these leaves. The fact that they're next to logs means they won't despawn unless I disconnect them. There we go. So now that none of them are making contact, see, these are making contact, so they won't disappear. Gotta make sure they're not making any physical contact, and then these leaves should naturally despawn. Okay. Don't know if I should worry too much about this corner. F it, we're already here, YOLO. Okay, so we'll have, yeah, that will correspond, and that way it can be even numbered. And this one, not so much. Okay, perfect. Oh, okay, okay. I'm trying to jump on that, but the elytra kept putting me into glide mode instead of letting me jump on top. God damn it. Back to scaffolding, which is probably what I should have done to begin with. Very well. So we want to kind of keep the space even because of those bricks that I showed you earlier in my test world, where I'm making like 2 blocks apart. So it'll kind of go side by side there. And this one, there we go. We'll just do that. Maybe I should just make them as I go, you know? Oh, I'm out of birch. I should probably carry more than a stack on me. Alright, fellas. Got more dirt for you. Alright, are they using this one yet? Oh, looks like they are. If they get stuck holding the same block... What do you got? What do you got? You got bushes? Give me that. Give me that. Okay, well, you can throw bushes in there. Kind of like keeping those little leaf litter blocks, because eventually you can use them for decoration. Minimum wage? What are you talking about? I don't pay them anything. They are my automatons. Now, you might not be aware of this if you haven't played Minecraft, but punching leaves and wood is a time-honored tradition. Okay, okay. I think, yeah, this is a good height. We can leave that one there. Alright. That looks about right. Sleepy time. Uh, I'm gonna have to repair my shovel soon. All of that sand harvesting. Let's put a little dent on it. What do you got? Sap? Sapling? Yeah, that's fair. Here, you can put it in that first chest. We may have to move this tree, which is a very euphemistic way of saying cut it down and replant. Okay, actually, I don't think we want this birch to be that tall. Okay, yeah. So we can build a practice wall here to see how that's gonna look. So we kind of want to preserve the look of the stone wall for a bit. So I have to give this a little bit of thought. All right. So we can... I don't think I've played V Rising. Let's get our deep slate. So I'm thinking, because we do want that contrast, and we do want to take advantage of some of the really darker deep slate colors, we do go with some of this initially. And we'll throw in a few chiseled along the way. And then we start to get into like the whole cobbled look. Okay, we don't need to hold all this birch right now. In fact, I'm gonna grab some dirt, or better yet, grab some stone. Oh, that sounds fun. So we don't necessarily want to waste our deep slate. Now we just poke a couple of holes here and there, adding the chiseled ones. That kind of helps break the pattern a bit. And I'm just gonna do like 2 layers, and then we swap to the regular deep slate. So that's probably more than we need right now. Got a lot of stone there. Thank you, thank you. Put that in there. Poke a couple of holes for the chiseled. Kind of a method to the madness. And at some point I have to make a big gate, but I haven't figured out where I want to do it. Like, I'm... Like, the extent of my planning has been the dirt outline. And just kind of trying to figure out how to make the pattern for how I'm going to put the stone. That's been, like, the full extent of my planning. Other than that, it's just kind of winging it to see how it comes out. I still have my bucket of salmon, so, you know, we get hungry. That's what's gonna go down. Okay, so we'll make cobbled deep slate. Alright, so we have regular deep slate, and basically you can change the pattern that it's gonna be depending on which face. So if I use this face here, you'll notice that it looks as so, but then, so I use the flat top, but now if I use the side, you'll notice even though it's deep slate, the pattern looks different. And here we break it up again using cobbled deep slate. And then regular. So I kind of want to make it look like these were pieces of stone. Let's see. Okay, I think this one gets that. And the rule that I'm using is that I want to make sure, the reason I have a minimum of 3 patterns is so that every single one like is touching a different pattern to itself. So I believe, yeah, that's, we want to use the flat version. And yeah, it looks different. And then here we put the cobbled. And then we go back to the one that's on the vertical. So it's like, it's very subtle, but it changes the pattern up a bit. So it's not like the one repeating pattern the entire time. So this one's cobbled, this one's side, so we want flat. Now, I don't know how this is gonna play out in the long run, but I'm hoping that this ends up looking good. Not gonna let me sleep, is it? And another thing we can do to kind of help give it a little bit of shape is having just periodic support blocks. I think the next one on the pattern is cobble. And then vertical, horizontal, and then cobble. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like it. That being said, I really should figure out what I want to do for an entrance so that I don't end up having to always climb between one side and the other just to get from one place to the other. Okay. So what was my pattern again? So this one is... no. This one is vertical. I think this one's cobbled. I'm not sure. So yeah, vertical, cobbled. So yeah, the next one's flat. I should just say that because the pattern does repeat, but it's a little subtle. So vertical, cobbled, flat. You know, flat, vertical, cobbled, flat. Vertical, cobbled. I do actually take notes sometimes. Well, sometimes what I'll do is I'll take screenshots as well. And, you know, I have the test world, and that's what I use to, like, figure out what I want to put in different places. Oh, I'm still holding that. That's cool. I'll come up with a plan. It'll be great. Okay. For now, we will continue the pattern. Vertical, cobbled, flat. Vertical, then cobbled. Yeah, I don't have to worry about that here. There's, I don't... I've already gifted my villagers the gift of safety by keeping them in captivity. It's a little weird, but it works. Okay, so if I went vertical cobbled, that means this one should be flat. Vertical cobbled. Flat. Alright, cool. I know it's a little bit early to actually tell whether or not it's looking good, but we'll take a look. Interesting, interesting. It definitely looks like there's a lot of rocks up there. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out. So we've got these walls here, so I should just expand them to make it look like there's a bunch of retaining walls up there, and then that the tower itself has its own unique identity as it goes up, separate from the walls. Alright. See. Vertical. Cobbled. And then flat. So it's cobbled and flat. We want vertical down here. Vertical. Okay, so that was cobbled, vertical, cobbled, flat. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I could see that. I could see it looking a bit like fields. And something I might do is I might actually make a second, like, inside layer of wall so that it looks different on the outside, on the inside from the outside. And, you know, the place is big enough that we can get away with that. So maybe like a wood paneling or something like that. Now, because we have our steps leading up this way, maybe we can try to do some kind of funky diagonal entrance. That would be interesting. I'm gonna have to think about this. How do we do this? Robot, how do we do it? Well, first things first, we do a mock-up using dirt. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing, but we'll make it work. I'm certain of it. Well, right now it's just me. I've got the world locked down. Um, so the funny thing is I am running a server, like I'm running it as a server on my own, on the same computer that I'm playing it on right now. But the reason I did that was that if I wanted to like play off stream or do anything like that, I can just log in from any other computer at my house and be able to get into it. And this computer is still acting as a server. But I have what's known as a whitelist, so it only lets anybody who's on the whitelist get on, and I am the only person on my whitelist. Just trying to think about how I would do it, because I'm not using the stairs, I'm using the slabs as stairs. And because of that, since they don't have like a good natural diagonal, I kind of have to stagger this out. So yeah, like this is a multiplayer game, but I don't like playing games like this with strangers because I can't trust strangers to not like steal stuff. Because I have played multiplayer Minecraft before where it's a survival world and we've got a whole bunch of different people that I don't know. And sure enough, somebody would raid my supplies and take stuff. And it just, after a while, I was like, nah, I'd rather just play alone. Now that being said, I have played other multiplayer servers where people are respectful and And at that point, because they're respectful, it's like, hey, I've got extra this and that. You feel free to take some. But you know how it is, where it's usually like, you don't want people to take things. You want to be able to offer things to people, and then they can be like, oh yeah, thank you, I needed that. But you don't want people to just help themselves to your stuff. It's kind of infuriating. And there's the other thing, I'm a grown-ass adult, and I don't want to end up playing in a server full of kids. So it's a lot easier to just play on my own. It's perfectly fine. I'm perfectly happy doing it that way. Like, one of the co-ops, I love Elden Ring co-op, but the problem is that when you're playing co-op, you also get invaded, and there's always a risk. Now, if you're down for that, it's good, but like, I was playing co-op with a streamer not very long ago, and the guy who invaded was an actual hacker that just messed up the the host's uh save file for that character. And fortunately, I wasn't hit by it because I was just the one who was being summoned. But it was still a really crappy thing to do. It's like you can probably trust 99% of people, but eventually you're gonna run into somebody who just kind of sucks. Yeah. Like I play this game because it can be relaxing. So having to worry about stuff, like just creating an artificial stress that doesn't even matter, and then having to worry about that, it's like, nah, I'm good. I'd rather not. Like in a game I play to relax, I don't want to suddenly have to be worrying about things. It's bad enough when my own dumbass gets me killed somewhere, and it's like, okay, am I gonna be able to recover my stuff? Which is always a gamble. Because, yeah, like, the whole process of enchanting is interesting. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. It's one of the reasons why I play with my brothers, because I can trust that it's like... I mean, fortunately I have good brothers. But that's why I play with them when I play multiplayer, because I can trust that we just want to play the game. Our goal is the game. Our goal isn't to grief somebody. A little bit of terraforming. Exactly. Alright, we are getting to the point where we are now getting close to actually wanting to start blending this in. I'm the oldest brother, so all my brothers are younger than me, but I'm the second. Don't worry, that's not something I use as a security question, so it's all good. Alright, let us grab ourselves some stone. Where is my stone cutter? It's probably on the other side. Why do I do this to myself? Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have put the dirt away, because I can use the dirt underneath. And we're gonna need... throw that in there. We don't need a lot of half slab steps yet. Okay, my dumbass just found what I did with my previous stone cutter. Okay, just throw that in there. Beautiful. So what I might do is probably make another path going up that way outside of the tower, but have this one going straight into like a diagonal entrance because it's interesting. So yeah, we'll be able to climb it like that. Yeah. This looks like a pretty fun entrance. Alright. I need to sleep so that the monsters don't get me. Now, if you're wondering why I'm digging out the dirt by hand instead of using that magical shovel, it's because that magical shovel will just nuke all the dirt immediately, and it might overshoot. Okay, I'm too early. I'm too excited to go to bed. There we go. If you see the moon, you can go to bed. That's the rules. Oh, trying to go to sleep and not being able to? I get that feeling all the time as an adult. I dig it. I dig it. Alright. I'm gonna make a few more cobbly slabs. And a few more stone brick slabs. I probably made more than I needed, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay. Right. We have some deep slate, but we're gonna need more. Here, take care of the leaves, my dudes. There we go. Some of that fresh deep slate. And we can probably fill in this area with dirt. Maybe put little like steps with different flowers leading up to make it look like a fancy lord lives up here. Hmm. Alright, that's it's like a pattern. Yeah, whatever. It looks like something. A little chaotic, but it is an entrance nonetheless. Alright. So I'm thinking we can leave the stream here. I've been on for 3 hours, and it's time for me to make dinner. Yeah, I'll probably continue streaming again a little bit of Minecraft tomorrow at a similar time. Yeah, this is what we've been up to. Gotta start building the tower at some point, and gotta make it look good. Yeah, I'm kind of digging it. I'm kind of digging it. From a distance, it looks kind of crazy from really close, but from a distance, it doesn't look too bad. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I appreciated you. I hope you have yourself an excellent day. I know that you mentioned having tomorrow off, so I hope you have a good one. And maybe I'll see you then. So, take care of yourself. Until next time.